Have you ever experienced a moment when someone's careless words or thoughtless actions shattered your entire day? Perhaps it was a harsh comment, a dismissive gesture, or an unexpected obstacle that threw everything off balance. It's infuriating, isn't it? That sinking feeling in your chest. The frustration bubbling up. The way your thoughts keep circling back to that one moment. But here's a powerful truth. No one can control your emotions unless you give them permission. Imagine moving through your day with such unwavering peace that no irritation, no criticism, and no external chaos could shake you. Picture yourself handling life's inevitable challenges with the calm of a still lake, untouched by the storms raging around it. This isn't just a hopeful fantasy, it's emotional mastery. In today's journey, we'll uncover 10 life-changing lessons that will empower you to stop reacting impulsively, release pent-up anger, and regain control over your emotions. These insights aren't about suppressing your feelings or pretending not to care. Instead, they will help you cultivate mental resilience, allowing you to respond to life's difficulties with grace and clarity. Whether you're dealing with unwarranted criticism, setting firm boundaries, or learning to let go of resentment, you'll gain practical tools to safeguard your inner peace and carry yourself with unshakable confidence. By the time we reach the end of this exploration, you'll have the mindset and strategies to remain composed, even in the face of life's most trying moments. So if you're ready to unlock the secret to emotional freedom and step into a life where no one else dictates your mood, let's begin. Your journey toward mastering your emotions starts right now. 1. Your reactions are always your choice. Picture this. You're having a tranquil morning, savoring a warm cup of coffee or taking a leisurely walk through a sunlit park. The world feels just right. Then, out of nowhere, someone throws a rude remark your way. Instantly, that peaceful moment shatters. Irritation surges through you. Your mood darkens. And suddenly, the day feels ruined. But here's the truth. You are the one who allowed that comment to dictate your emotions. Your feelings are yours alone to manage. No one has the power to make you feel anything unless you hand them the reins of your emotional state. Think of it like wearing noise-canceling headphones in a chaotic city. The honking cars, shouting pedestrians, and endless noise don't disappear, but they no longer reach you. Mastering your reactions works the same way. You don't have to let the chaos of others invade your peace. There's a powerful quote that encapsulates this beautifully. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Consider this the next time someone cuts you off in traffic or dismisses your ideas in a meeting. Instead of instantly reacting with anger, pause. In that brief pause, you reclaim your power, the power to choose patience over frustration, clarity over impulse. Let's apply this to real life. Imagine a coworker carelessly undermines your input during an important discussion. Instead of snapping back or stewing in resentment for the rest of the day, take a step back, breathe, ask yourself, is this truly about me? Or is it a reflection of their own stress or biases? By reframing the situation, you strip it of its ability to control your emotions. This approach doesn't mean denying how you feel. Anger, frustration, and disappointment are valid emotions. But they don't have to dictate what you do next. You have the power to respond in a way that aligns with your values and preserves your inner peace. Here's a simple yet effective strategy to start practicing this mindset. Pause and identify the moment you feel triggered. Stop and name the emotion you're experiencing: anger, irritation, hurt. This moment of awareness disrupts the automatic cycle of reaction. Question your perspective. Ask yourself, am I reacting to what happened, or to my interpretation of it? Consciously choose your response. Decide how you want to act. Not based on fleeting emotions, but on who you want to be and the long-term peace you seek. Now, imagine the freedom of walking through life untethered to the moods of others. A rude stranger, An unkind remark, an inconvenient delay, none of them can hold power over you unless you allow them to. In every moment, you have a choice. Let others dictate your emotions or take back control. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember, their behavior does not define you. Your reaction does. And in choosing calm over chaos, you don't just gain emotional mastery, you gain true freedom. 2. Stop expecting people to behave like you would. Have you ever found yourself going above and beyond for others, offering kindness, showing up when they need support, only to realize, in your moment of need, that they are nowhere to be found? That sting of disappointment cuts deep. You ask yourself, how could they be so inconsiderate? I would never treat them this way. But here's a hard truth. People do not operate by your rulebook. Expecting others to treat you exactly as you treat them is a fast track to frustration. We assume that kindness will always be reciprocated, that loyalty will always be returned, that people will meet us with the same level of care and consideration we offer. But human nature doesn't work that way. People see the world through their own lens, shaped by their experiences, priorities, and emotional capacities. Instead of resenting others for falling short of your expectations, shift your mindset. Give freely, but without attachment. Help others because it aligns with your values, not because you expect something in return. The moment you release the expectation that people should act as you would, you liberate yourself from disappointment. Think of it this way: a bird does not expect a fish to fly. A river does not expect the mountains to move. They simply exist as they are. You, too, can move through life with an open heart, offering kindness but not chaining your happiness to the actions of others. This shift in perspective doesn't mean lowering your standards or tolerating mistreatment. It means recognizing that your peace is too valuable to be tied to the unpredictable behavior of others. Instead of asking, "Why didn't they treat me the way I would have treated them?" ask yourself, "Am I choosing to let their actions define my happiness?" By embracing this wisdom, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. You stop waiting for validation from others and instead find peace in knowing that your actions reflect your own integrity, not the expectations you place on the world. Here's a reality check: people don't operate based on your standards, values, or expectations. They act in alignment with their own experiences, beliefs, and priorities, hoping that others will think, behave, or respond the way you would is like trying to control the direction of the wind. It's a futile effort that only leads to disappointment and frustration. Imagine each person walking their own distinct path, shaped by the lessons life has taught them. When someone does something that irritates or hurts you, more often than not, it's a reflection of who they are, not a statement about you. Trying to change them, to force them to align with your way of thinking, will only leave you feeling drained and powerless. The key to emotional freedom isn't in reshaping others, it's in shifting your perspective. Let's take a simple but familiar scenario. Imagine you have a coworker who constantly interrupts during meetings. With every interjection, your patience wears thinner, irritation brewing beneath the surface. You want to correct them, to make them realize how disruptive they are. But what if, instead of letting their behavior consume your peace, you accepted that their habit has nothing to do with you? What if you let go of the expectation that they will suddenly change? In doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. There's a profound truth that captures this lesson. Expectations are the root of all suffering. The more rigidly you hold onto how you think people should behave, the more frequently you set yourself up for disappointment. But when you release those expectations, you regain control over your inner world. Here's a simple exercise to help you let go of unrealistic expectations and protect your peace. Acknowledge your assumptions. When someone's behavior upsets you, pause and ask yourself, what was I expecting them to do? Challenge that expectation. Reflect on whether it's truly reasonable to expect someone to act exactly as you would. Are they even aware of your expectations? Shift your focus, instead of trying to control how others behave. Redirect your energy toward how you can respond in a way that preserves your peace. When you embrace this mindset, life becomes lighter. The rude stranger, the forgetful friend, the inconsiderate colleague, none of them have the power to shake your emotions unless you allow them to. People are who they are, not who you wish them to be. Accepting this truth doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment or compromising your values. It simply means understanding that your well-being is too valuable to be dictated by things beyond your control. So, the next time someone lets you down or frustrates you, take a deep breath and remind yourself, they are acting from their nature, not mine, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I get to choose how I respond. By releasing expectations, you don't just free others from the weight of your assumptions, you liberate yourself from the emotional burden they once carried. Let go of the need to always be right. Think back to the last argument you had. Maybe it was a trivial disagreement about the best route to take, or whether a certain movie was overrated, or perhaps it was something deeper. A heated exchange with a friend or partner about values, beliefs, or personal choices. As the conversation escalated, did you feel that burning desire to prove your point? That unshakable need to win the argument? We've all been there, clinging to our perspective as if letting go would mean losing a part of ourselves. But here's something to reflect on. The need to be right is often less about truth and more about ego. Deep down, we fear that being wrong somehow diminishes our worth, threatens our intelligence, or undermines our credibility. But what if being right wasn't the goal? What if, instead of striving to win, you focused on understanding? There's a simple yet powerful question that can change the way you navigate conflicts. Would you rather be right? Or would you rather be at peace? So often, our insistence on proving ourselves right does more harm than good. It creates tension, fuels resentment, and fractures relationships. But when you release the need to win, you gain something far more valuable: clarity, harmony, and emotional balance. Imagine a scenario where someone unfairly accuses you of something. Your instinct might be to launch into defense mode, arguing your case with every ounce of conviction. But before you engage, pause and ask yourself, is proving them wrong truly worth my energy? Will this argument change anything meaningful in my life? More often than not, the answer is no. Here's an alternative approach. Say a friend insists that their way of handling a problem is better than yours. Instead of engaging in a back-and-forth battle, you could simply respond, I see where you're coming from, and I respect your perspective. That's it. No defensive stance. No need to convince them otherwise, just an acknowledgement that their viewpoint is valid, even if you don't share it. This doesn't mean abandoning your principles or silencing your voice. It means understanding that not every disagreement requires a victor. Some debates aren't worth the emotional drain. Some battles are better left unfought. Lao Tzu, the ancient Taoist philosopher, captured this wisdom beautifully. He who is attached to his views will never grow. Letting go of the need to always be right doesn't mean you stop standing up for what matters. It simply means you recognize that peace is often found not in the proving, but in the letting go. Mastering the art of letting go, a path to inner peace and strength. One of the most liberating realizations in life is understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. True wisdom lies in knowing when to engage and when to step back. Some arguments are fueled by pride rather than purpose, and choosing peace over the need to be right is a skill that brings immeasurable freedom. So how do you start cultivating this mindset? Pause before responding. The next time you feel an overwhelming urge to correct someone, prove a point, or defend yourself, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this conversation lead to something meaningful? Or am I just reacting out of impulse? Seek to understand, not to win. Instead of approaching disagreements as a competition, Shift your focus to understanding the other person's perspective. Ask questions. Listen without immediately formulating a counterpoint. And be open to the idea that not every discussion needs a winner. Choose your battles wisely. Not every disagreement deserves your time and mental space. Save your energy for issues that truly align with your values or affect significant outcomes. Letting go of the small, inconsequential conflicts allows you to reserve your strength for the things that truly matter. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift within yourself. The tension that once drained you, the frustration that once consumed you, these emotions begin to lose their hold. Arguments no longer feel like chains pulling you into negativity because you've chosen clarity over chaos. And here's something to remember. Your worth isn't measured by how many debates you win or how often you prove your intelligence. It's reflected in your ability to carry yourself with grace, to protect your inner peace, and to walk away when a conversation adds no value to your life. The next time you find yourself at the edge of an argument, pause and remind yourself, being right won't make me happy, but being calm will. And in that moment, you'll feel the immense power of letting go. Reclaiming your self-worth. Stop letting others define you. Picture this. You're excitedly sharing an idea. Something you've poured your heart into. Something that truly inspires you. And then, someone cuts you off with a dismissive comment, one thoughtless remark. And suddenly, your confidence crumbles. Why does this happen? Because too often, we tie our self-worth to the words of others. We let their opinions become the mirror in which we see ourselves. But here's the truth. Your value is not determined by someone else's perception of you. It is not dependent on their praise, their criticism, or their approval. The moment you rely on others to validate you, you hand them the power to dictate your emotions. But true emotional freedom comes when you take that power back. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine a colleague harshly criticizes your work, not with the intention of offering constructive feedback, but in a way that feels personal and belittling. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself, to push back, to prove them wrong. But what if, instead, you took a deep breath and reminded yourself, their words reflect their perspective, not my worth. By detaching your sense of self from their opinion, you create an unshakable foundation, one that cannot be easily torn down. Marcus Aurelius captured this wisdom beautifully. It never ceases to amaze me. We love ourselves more than anyone else. Yet we care more about their opinions than our own. This doesn't mean disregarding feedback altogether. Constructive criticism helps us grow. But unwarranted negativity doesn't deserve space in our minds. The key is learning to filter what truly matters, to discern between words that help you evolve and words that are simply noise. Here's how you can stop letting external voices dictate your self-worth. Pause before reacting. When someone's words sting, don't let them provoke an immediate emotional response. Take a moment to breathe and create distance between their opinion and your reality. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, is there truth in what they're saying? Or is this just their personal perception? If it's valid feedback, use it for growth. If it's baseless negativity, let it go. Reaffirm your worth. Your value is intrinsic. It exists independently of external validation. Remind yourself that no one else's judgment has the power to define who you are. Lao Tzu once said, care too much about what others think, and you will always be their prisoner. Letting go of the need for validation doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop caring about opinions that don't serve your growth. So the next time someone's words threaten to shake your confidence, pause and ask yourself, am I letting this define me? Or can I choose to focus on what I know to be true about myself? At that moment, you reclaim your power. And you remind yourself that no words, no matter how harsh, can diminish your worth unless you allow them to. True strength doesn't come from avoiding criticism. It comes from knowing your value despite it. When you stop letting others define you, You create space for authenticity, confidence, and peace, a life that no one can take from you. Protecting your energy, the power of setting boundaries. Picture this. Your phone rings in the middle of a hectic day. It's a friend asking for your help with something they could probably handle on their own. Or maybe a coworker dumps a last-minute task on you, fully expecting you to say yes without hesitation. You feel the familiar tug, the weight of obligation, the discomfort of saying no. Why is it so hard to set boundaries? Because deep down, we fear that saying no makes us selfish. We worry about disappointing others, about being seen as unhelpful or uncaring. But the truth is, protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. Your time, your emotional well-being, your mental space, they are all valuable resources. And just like you wouldn't let someone recklessly drain your bank account, you shouldn't let them deplete your energy without consideration. Here's the reality. People will take as much as you allow. If you constantly say yes to every request, every favor, every demand, you'll soon find yourself exhausted and resentful. But when you start setting boundaries, something incredible happens. You regain control over your life. Here's how to begin. Recognize your limits, be honest with yourself about how much you can handle. Overextending yourself doesn't serve you or anyone else. Communicate clearly. You don't need to over-explain or justify your boundaries. A simple, "I can't commit to that right now," is enough. Let go of guilt. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who respects their own well-being. Think of it this way. A tree doesn't apologize for standing tall and taking up space. The ocean doesn't apologize for setting its tides. You, too, are allowed to protect your space, your time, your energy. So the next time someone asks for more than you can give, remind yourself, I am not responsible for managing everyone else's needs at the cost of my own. By setting boundaries, you are not shutting people out, you are making sure that when you do say yes, it's with intention, not obligation. And that is the ultimate act of self-respect. Guarding your peace, the power of setting boundaries. Here's a fundamental truth. Protecting your inner peace isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. And at the heart of this protection lies one essential skill: setting boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish. They are the invisible lines that define how much of yourself you're willing to give before depletion sets in. Without them, you become an open door, letting others dictate your time, your energy, and even your emotions. Saying yes to everyone else too often means saying no to yourself. And if you continuously pour into others without refilling your own cup, you will eventually find yourself running on empty, burned out, resentful, and disconnected from your own needs. A simple but powerful reminder. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you overextend yourself, whether out of guilt, obligation, or the fear of disappointing others, you compromise your well-being. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they are about safeguarding your emotional freedom while maintaining healthy relationships. Think about it this way: when someone oversteps your boundaries, it's not necessarily their fault, it's yours for not clearly defining and enforcing them. People aren't mind readers. If you don't communicate your limits, they will continue to push, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes because they've never been told otherwise. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, and in doing so, you teach others how to respect you as well. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you're the go-to person whenever your friends need advice, so much so that they call you at all hours, even late at night, expecting your time and emotional support. You want to be there for them, but the constant availability is draining you. Instead of silently resenting them, what if you responded with, I care about you, and I want to support you, but I need my evenings to recharge. Let's talk tomorrow when I can give you my full attention. This response is firm, yet kind. It communicates your boundaries while maintaining the relationship. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the ability to live as we wish." Living freely doesn't mean disregarding others, it means consciously deciding where your energy is best spent. Boundaries give you the power to choose your priorities rather than letting external demands dictate them. How to set boundaries effectively. Be clear and honest, communicate your limits directly and calmly. People are far more likely to respect boundaries when they understand them. Use I statements, focus on your needs rather than blaming others. Instead of saying, "You always bother me after work," try, "I need quiet time in the evenings to recharge." Uphold your boundaries consistently. If you set a limit, stick to it. When you waver, you send the message that your boundaries are negotiable. Lao Tzu offers another invaluable perspective. He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble. Knowing your limits and standing by them prevents unnecessary stress and frustration. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you, they are bridges to healthier, more balanced relationships. The next time you feel overwhelmed or taken for granted, pause and ask yourself, have I clearly communicated my needs? Am I honoring my own boundaries? By setting limits, you free yourself from unnecessary obligations and reclaim your energy for what truly matters. And here's the most important lesson of all. You are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions or fixing their problems. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, your peace, your time, your emotional well-being. Protect them fiercely, and watch how much lighter and more in control you feel. Because when you prioritize yourself, you don't give less to the world, you give the best version of yourself. Detaching from the opinions of others, reclaiming your power. Imagine this. You excitedly share an idea, something you believe in, something that ignites a spark within you. But instead of encouragement, you're met with indifference, skepticism, or even outright criticism. That sting of rejection? It's real, and if left unchecked, it can spiral into self-doubt, making you question your worth. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Why does their opinion carry so much weight? The desire for approval is deeply ingrained in us. Since childhood, we've been conditioned to seek validation from parents, teachers, peers. But the truth is, basing your worth on the opinions of others is like chasing shadows. You will never catch them. No matter how much you try to impress, please, or prove yourself, there will always be someone who disapproves, misunderstands, or dismisses you. Emotional freedom begins the moment you stop letting external voices dictate your self-worth. Think of it this way. Every person sees the world through a unique lens, one shaped by their experiences, biases, and insecurities. What someone says about you is often a reflection of them, not you. When you internalize their judgment, you are handing them control over your emotions and decisions. So ask yourself, why let someone else write your story? A simple yet powerful truth to remember. Your worth isn't up for debate. It is not dependent on compliments, nor is it diminished by criticism. It exists, unshaken, independent of external approval. Let's consider a real-world example. Imagine you're wearing an outfit that you absolutely love. It makes you feel confident, radiant, completely yourself. But then a coworker makes a passing remark. That's an interesting choice. Now, you have two options. Let their comment infiltrate your mind, causing self-doubt to creep in. You replay their words, wondering if your outfit was a mistake, shrinking yourself to fit into their expectations. Detach from their opinion and stand firm in your own confidence. You remind yourself that their perspective does not define your happiness. Your joy belongs to you, and their words have no power over it. Which choice feels more freeing? Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Growth requires letting go of the fear of judgment. Living authentically means embracing the reality that not everyone will understand or support you, and that's okay. How to detach from the opinions of others. Pause before reacting, when faced with criticism or judgment. Take a deep breath. Instead of immediately internalizing it, create space to evaluate whether it truly matters. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, is there truth in what they're saying? Or is this just their perspective? If it's constructive feedback, use it to grow. If it's just negativity, let it roll off your back. Reaffirm your worth. Remind yourself, I define my value, not anyone else. My confidence is my own, unshaken by the fleeting opinions of others. Lao Tzu gives us one final piece of wisdom. Care too much about what others think, and you will always be their prisoner. Letting go of the need for approval doesn't mean shutting people out, it means freeing yourself from the chains of unnecessary validation. The next time someone's words threaten your confidence, pause and ask yourself, am I letting this define me? Or can I choose to focus on what I know to be true about myself? In that moment, you reclaim your power. No one's words, no matter how critical or dismissive, can diminish your worth unless you allow them to. True strength isn't found in avoiding judgment. It's found in knowing your value, despite it. And when you stop letting others define you, you finally create space for authenticity, confidence, and unshakable peace. And that's a life no one can take from you. The art of letting go, releasing the grip of others' opinions. This might sound harsh, but it's incredibly freeing. Growth often requires stepping outside the boundaries of approval, embracing paths that others may not understand, and daring to live on your own terms. Seeking validation can be a heavy chain, one that keeps you tethered to the expectations of others, while the courage to follow your own path, despite misunderstandings, sets you free. If you want to detach from the weight of external opinions, start here. Question their importance. The next time someone's words shake your confidence, pause and ask yourself, why does their opinion matter to me? What authority do they truly hold over my life? Often, you'll realize that their words have no real bearing on your journey. Reaffirm your values, instead of being swayed by what others expect. Anchor yourself in what truly matters to you. Your principles, your goals, and your inner truth should be the compass guiding your decisions. Practice letting go when judgment or criticism arises. Acknowledge it, but don't hold on to it. Imagine their words as leaves drifting down a river. They are there, but they do not stay. They pass. And so should their influence on you. Lao Tzu once offered a profound truth. Care too much about people's approval, and you will always be their prisoner. This isn't about shutting yourself off from the world or rejecting valuable feedback. Rather, it's about discerning between what nurtures your growth and what is simply noise. Constructive criticism is a tool for self-improvement, but unwarranted judgment? That's theirs to carry, not yours. Think of this detachment like shielding yourself from bad weather. The rain may fall, the wind may howl, but you don't have to stand there and let yourself be soaked. By staying centered in your own truth, you remain unshaken, no matter how others perceive you. So the next time someone's words threaten to dim your light, pause and ask yourself, am I living for them? Or am I living for me? When you choose to detach, you reclaim your freedom, protect your peace, and craft a life that is genuinely yours. Your path is too important to be dictated by fleeting opinions. The strength of silence, responding with composure, not anger. Picture this. You're in the middle of a heated exchange. Someone hurls a cutting remark your way, perhaps intentionally provocative, designed to provoke a reaction. You feel the anger rise, your pulse quickens, your hands tense, your mind races for the perfect comeback. But what if, instead of lashing out, you said nothing? Silence is one of the most powerful tools you possess when dealing with negativity. It is not a sign of weakness, nor is it an act of avoidance, it is a conscious choice. A declaration that your peace matters more than the chaos unfolding before you. Choosing not to react isn't about conceding, it's about control. The less you engage with negativity, the more you protect your energy. Silence, when used with intention, speaks louder than words. It says, "I refuse to let your actions dictate my emotions. I am unshaken." Consider this scenario. A colleague undermines you in a meeting. Subtly, or not so subtly, attempting to make you look bad in front of others. You have two choices. Engage in a back-and-forth argument, giving them the reaction they seek. Pause, say nothing, and let your silence speak for itself. By choosing silence, you remove their ability to control the narrative. Instead of getting caught up in an emotional battle, you remain composed, demonstrating that real strength isn't found in retaliation, but in restraint. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius captured this wisdom perfectly. The best answer to anger is silence. Why? Because anger thrives on fuel, it needs a reaction to keep burning. But silence? Silence starves it. When you refuse to engage, you break the cycle of negativity and protect your emotional well-being. How to make silence your superpower in moments of provocation. Pause before reacting. When faced with provocation, take a deep breath. Silence creates space for clarity. Listen without defending. Not every comment needs an immediate rebuttal. Sometimes, people just want to be heard. Let them speak, without allowing their words to disrupt your peace. Speak only when necessary, if a response is required. Keep it calm, measured, and to the point. A Buddhist teaching reminds us. Speak only if it improves upon the silence. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means choosing when and how to express them in a way that serves your peace. Silence doesn't ignore the problem. It preserves your energy for moments where your voice truly matters. Think about how often we regret words spoken in anger. Silence eliminates that regret. It grants you the ability to reflect, reassess, and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. And in many cases, silence says more than words ever could. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, pause and ask yourself, will responding add value, or will it simply escalate the situation? By choosing silence, you protect your peace, you demonstrate strength, and you retain control over the narrative. Because in the end, silence is not the absence of a response, it is the most powerful response of all. True wisdom isn't just about intelligence or knowledge, it's the ability to rise above the chaos. To navigate through the noise of the world without being consumed by it. It is the quiet strength to declare, "Your words do not hold power over me, my inner peace does." And that is how true battles are won, not through shouting, not through retaliation, but through an unshakable sense of calm that refuses to be disturbed. Practice gratitude to dissolve anger. Picture this. You wake up expecting a smooth, productive day, but instead, everything starts to unravel. Plans fall apart, people are unkind, and even the smallest inconveniences seem unbearable. Frustration boils within you, and you find yourself thinking, why does everything have to be so difficult? Now, pause. Imagine, just for a moment, that instead of dwelling on everything that is going wrong, you shift your perspective to what is still right. Gratitude has a way of softening anger, of transforming even the worst days into moments of clarity and perspective. Here's a powerful truth: you cannot be truly grateful and angry at the same time. The act of gratitude functions like a mental reset button. It pulls you out of the downward spiral of negativity and gently reminds you of the good that remains, even in the face of frustration. Take a simple scenario: you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important appointment. Your patience wears thin, irritation creeps in, and you can feel your anger rising. But instead of letting it take over, try this: take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and think of 3 things you are thankful for. Maybe it's the fact that you have a car to drive, the opportunity awaiting you at your destination, or even just the soothing melody of your favorite song playing through the speakers. These small shifts in focus can work wonders, turning an aggravating moment into one of calm acceptance. The Roman philosopher Cicero once said, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues but the parent of all others." It is not merely a fleeting emotion, it is a force that nurtures resilience, strengthens patience, and keeps our attention on what truly matters. More than just dissolving anger. Gratitude becomes a shield, protecting our peace, preserving our joy, and the best part? It is always within reach. Here's how to make gratitude an unshakable habit in your daily life. Pause and reflect. The next time anger rises, stop and take a breath. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can appreciate in this moment? Shifting focus to gratitude interrupts the cycle of negativity. Keep a gratitude journal each evening. Take a moment to jot down 3 positive things from your day. No matter how small, over time, this rewires your brain to naturally seek out the good in every situation. Reframe challenges. When faced with difficulty, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Gratitude is often found in recognizing what we still have, even when things feel unfair. Imagine someone delivers harsh criticism toward you, words that sting, cutting deeper than they should. The instinct is to react, to let anger take hold. But what if, instead, you shifted your perspective? Instead of thinking, why would they say that? Consider this: I am grateful for the chance to grow, even if the feedback wasn't delivered kindly. This doesn't mean excusing someone's harshness, but it does mean reclaiming control over your emotions and refusing to let negativity dictate your response. There's an old Buddhist reflection that reminds us, if we didn't learn much today, at least we learned something. If we didn't learn something, at least we didn't fall ill. And if we did fall ill, at least we are still alive. So, let us be thankful. Gratitude shifts the lens through which we see the world. It doesn't mean ignoring frustration or suppressing anger. It means choosing to prioritize what uplifts us rather than what drags us down. The next time frustration bubbles up within you, stop and ask, what can I be thankful for right now? You'll find that gratitude doesn't merely neutralize anger, it replaces it with clarity, peace, and an unshakable sense of control. And in that moment, you'll realize, peace isn't something you find. It's something you create. Reframing criticism as a tool for growth. Now, picture this. You've just shared an idea, one you're excited about, one that means something to you. But instead of enthusiasm, you're met with cold, sharp criticism. It stings. Your immediate instinct? Defensiveness. Maybe even resentment. It's natural to feel this way when something you've put effort into is dismissed so easily. But what if you saw criticism not as an attack, but as a doorway to growth? No matter how it is delivered, whether harsh or constructive, criticism has the potential to be valuable. If you choose to see it as a lesson rather than an insult, it can expose blind spots, challenge your assumptions, and push you towards self-improvement. When you shift your mindset, criticism stops feeling like a wound and starts becoming a tool, one that sharpens your skills, broadens your thinking, and makes you stronger. The world is full of opinions, and not all of them will be kind. But within every critique, there is an opportunity. The question is, will you resist it, or will you use it to become better than you were before? Criticism, a pathway to growth, not an obstacle. Imagine this. You've poured hours into preparing a presentation, carefully crafting every detail, ensuring each point is well structured and compelling. Then, just before you're about to deliver it, a colleague points out several flaws. Your immediate reaction? Perhaps frustration, defensiveness, even the creeping thought, are they trying to undermine me? But what if, instead of seeing their feedback as an attack, you paused and asked yourself, is there truth in what they're saying? How can I use this to make my work better? By choosing this second perspective, you turn what might have felt like criticism into an invaluable opportunity for refinement. It's like using a sculptor's chisel. Each strike may seem harsh, but it is precisely what shapes the masterpiece. A wise thought captures this perfectly. Criticism, like rain, should be gentle enough to nourish growth without destroying the roots. This isn't to say that all criticism is worth internalizing. Some remarks come from places of envy, ignorance, or malice. The key is learning to filter, keeping what serves you, discarding what does not. How to handle criticism with grace. Pause before reacting. The moment you receive criticism, resist the urge to react immediately. Take a breath. Give yourself space to process, so your response is guided by clarity, not emotion. Evaluate the source. Consider who is offering the feedback. Is this someone with experience and wisdom? Do they have your best interests at heart? If their words hold value, listen. If not, let them pass like wind through the trees. Find the lesson, even when criticism stings or is poorly delivered. Ask yourself, what can I take from this? Is there a hidden gem of insight beneath the rough exterior? Now, let's make it more personal. Imagine a family member criticizes your choices, your career path, your lifestyle, the way you navigate life. Your instinct may be to argue, to shut down, to defend yourself. But what if, instead, you responded with a calm, "I hear your concerns. I'll think about what you've said." This simple statement does two things. It acknowledges their perspective without agreeing, and it allows you to reflect in your own time, without escalating conflict. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, offers timeless wisdom. If someone speaks ill of you, do not rush to defend yourself. Instead, say, "If only they knew all my other faults, they would have said much more." His words remind us not to take criticism too personally. It is not an attack on our worth, but rather, part of the journey towards self-improvement. So, the next time someone critiques you, shift the focus. Ask, what can I learn from this? Is this criticism truly about me? Or does it reveal more about them? How can I use this to grow? Lao Tzu once said, knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself is true wisdom. Criticism, when approached with the right mindset, becomes a mirror. It reflects truths about ourselves we might not have seen otherwise. And while it may not always be comfortable, real growth rarely is. By welcoming feedback, even when it stings, you cultivate resilience, humility, and a stronger sense of self. So the next time criticism comes your way, pause. Reframe it. See it not as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone toward becoming your most refined, most powerful self, mastering the art of letting go. Now, picture this. You are holding a burning coal in your hand, waiting for the perfect moment to throw it at someone who has wronged you. But as you wait, the fire sears your skin, the pain intensifies, and you realize it is not they who are suffering. It is you. Anger, resentment, and grudges work in the same way. They scorch the soul of the one who clings to them, not the person who caused the hurt. True strength, then, does not come from holding on but from releasing. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing what happened. It simply means choosing to free yourself from the burden of the past, reclaiming your energy, and shifting your focus to the present. When you let go, you are not surrendering, you are taking back your power. Buddha put it beautifully. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Think of a time when someone deeply wronged you. Perhaps it was a betrayal, a cruel judgment, or an unkind word. How much time did you spend replaying that moment in your mind? How much energy was wasted imagining confrontations, plotting rebuttals, or dwelling in silent resentment? Letting go is the antidote to this endless cycle. It is the decision to move forward rather than remain shackled to the past. How to begin letting go? Acknowledge your feelings. Suppressing emotions does not make them disappear, it makes them fester. Allow yourself to feel the pain, the anger, the disappointment, without judgment. Only then can you begin to release them. Reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How has this experience shaped me? Often, the hardest moments in life serve as the greatest teachers. Focus on the present. Letting go is not an act of weakness, but of strength. It is a conscious decision to prioritize your peace over past wounds. The only place where change can happen is in the here and now. Imagine this scenario. At work, a colleague takes credit for your idea. You could let it fester. Let resentment poison your thoughts. Allow it to cloud your interactions. Or, you could recognize that your worth is not defined by one stolen moment of recognition. By choosing to move forward, you protect your peace and focus on what truly matters: your growth, your future, your next opportunity. Lao Tzu offers profound wisdom. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Letting go is not just about releasing anger or resentment. It is also about relinquishing the need for perfection, the fear of failure, the illusion of control. It is about embracing life in all its unpredictability and finding freedom in acceptance. Think of it like releasing a balloon. The longer you hold onto it, the tighter your grip, the more tension builds in your hand. But the moment you let go, the weight lifts, and you watch it drift freely into the sky, no longer yours to carry. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not be disturbed by what is outside your power. Let it go, and you will find peace. This does not mean allowing people to walk over you. It does not mean ignoring injustice. It means being intentional about where you direct your energy. By letting go of what you cannot change, you create space for what you can: a brighter, calmer, and more fulfilling life. So the next time you find yourself holding onto pain, ask, is this serving me? Is this worth my peace? Then, with courage and intention, open your hand and let it go. Because life is not about what has happened. It is about what is still possible. The next time you feel the weight of anger pressing down on your heart or regret whispering in your mind, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this truly worth my peace? What if, instead of holding onto it, you simply let it go? Imagine the freedom, the lightness, the sense of calm that would replace the tension inside you. That answer, the one that leads you toward emotional liberation, is always within your reach. Because real strength isn't about how tightly you hold on, it's about knowing when to release, when to set yourself free. And when you do, you'll find something remarkable. The lighter you become, the stronger you feel. And there you have it, 10 profound lessons to help you master your emotions and remain unshaken, no matter what life throws your way. These aren't just abstract concepts or fleeting words of wisdom. They are practical tools, everyday strategies designed to shield your peace, fortify your resilience, and empower you to take control of your reactions. Remember, the goal is not to suppress your emotions or numb yourself to the world. It's to develop the clarity and inner strength to respond with intention rather than be ruled by impulse. Emotional mastery isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you choose to respond. The power to remain calm, centered, and untouchable by negativity has always been yours to claim. As you move forward, carry these lessons with you. Practice the art of pausing before you react. Set firm, unwavering boundaries that guard your energy. Release the burdens, the situations, the people, the past, that no longer serve you. With every decision to choose peace over chaos, you take one step closer to the unshakable, fulfilling life you truly deserve. If this resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need a little extra calm in their life. And if you have your own insights or personal experiences on staying unbothered, I'd love to hear them. Drop a comment below. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Remember, emotional freedom isn't a destination, it's a continuous practice. So keep showing up for yourself. Stay mindful. Keep growing stronger, day by day. Until we meet again, take care. And stay unbothered.